So hi everybody. This is a new one for me. I've obviously done a couple of kind of Zoom meetings and stuff, but this is my first kind of online event. So it's interesting to do it, but I'm so happy to be here and to share my story. Um, as Sarah kind of said, my story kind of goes a bit of a 180, kind of leaving university to where I am now. So I graduated University of Ulster now, oh dear, what was it? 12? No, I want to say that. Sorry, 15 years ago. That's very scary. And I went and became a photographer. There wasn't even a photography degree when I was there. I just kind of specialised in fine and applied art and thought it was great. There wasn't very many females at that time kind of doing photography. I had got my first job and it was working for a magazine, and I had a column. It was called Later with Linzi, which was essentially me going out, taking photographs of people at social events and drinking loads of wine. That was essentially how it went. And of course, I loved that job. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And then recession kind of hit, the first that around that kind of 2000 and was it three, kind of five or something around then, and I was made redundant at that age, so I was only kind of 23. So of course my whole world came crashing down, because at that time I just thought this was the most perfect job ever. And then I decided to go and work for Royal Caribbean as a photographer, which was also loads of fun. I definitely worked hard and played hard when I was in my early 20s. And then I got kicked off the ship for partying a bit too hard. We'll leave it at that. So I came home and I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? I thought photography wasn't the right path for me. And I just had my first little girl. So I just thought it was time to retrain. And I went back and did Belfast Met, actually, silversmithing. So I kind of just developed that. I was just working from home. I had my studio space in the house and I was just doing markets. And at that time, markets were very popular. There was loads of fairs, and I was doing a thing called the Fashion Souk, which was a market. And then I decided to develop it. I wanted to be out of the house. I wanted to actually enjoy a workspace to go to, which is obviously different now, considering we've all moved back into our houses again. And I thought I wanted to open up a shop, and it was basically a place for me to still work and do my silversmithing, and then also to have it where customers can come up out to me. So Studio Souk was formed then. Then Studio Souk, I had kind of originally developed it as a charity. My main aim was to get funding from Belfast City Council and look at all those kind of in terms of youth groups and that more social support or art exhibition or art workshop kind of led business. Kind of flash forward then a couple of years after that, I started to develop as a business person. You start to get a bit more aware of what's going on, and I felt then I was starting to get limited to growth when it came to those restrictions of running a charity or a social enterprise kind of style business. So I decided to experiment with kind of just a normal limited company, and then Born and Bred was born essentially in Belfast City Airport. So I had opened that in August 2018, and then developed the brand as in the Born and Bred, working alongside the Studio Souk brand. Then I had started to develop our own product line, still obviously using local producers to make it, either myself or some of the artists that we already had in the shop, and slowly kind of developed that product range, from mugs to, we do our own Christmas crackers, we do our own advent boxes, we do t-shirts, we do biscuits. We literally have a full range of products now at the minute. We were named 10 places to shop in Belfast by the New York Times. We were top place to shop by Lonely Planet. So there's definitely been a good lot of recognition for what we do on the high street. Then after Born and Bred was in the airport, November 2019, last year, my lease in the city centre was being reviewed, and there was going to be nearly a double increase in rent. during that time. So I kind of thought, flip, right, okay, this doesn't fit the model of Studio Sook anymore. So I need to also move Born and Bred then into the city centre. And then that's when I started to focus solely on our own products, our own product collection, because I knew that that was the best time to get our bigger margins to be able to sustain ourselves in the high street. And obviously I knew that I needed to create our own products to create bigger margins, not only to pay bills, but also still to be able to provide that platform for other artists. And I couldn't provide that support if I didn't make sure that we obviously covered all of our costs in the high street. So then that kind of happened, and then everything was going really well, and the shop was doing brilliant, and we were all ready for our American tourists this year, and all the cruise ships that were coming in, and this was going to be the year of tourists, because essentially what the shop does sell is fancy tourists or fancy souvenirs for tourists. That's essentially what it is, really. So I just kind of thought, right, what are we going to do? How are we going to adapt to this new environment on the high street that we're currently in? Obviously come March, then everything came crashing down. February I had bought loads of stock in for the year. My top floor is filled with mugs, and I was like, what are we going to do? How are we going to basically get all this product shifted and sustain ourselves on the high street? So I had really pushed forward with the website, and put all my kind of energy into that, especially for March when we had to close the shop. And then also I thought the best thing to do was to look at other lines of revenue and how I can still get loads of revenue in the business, and one of those was corporate. So we went and looked at different corporate clients and different partnerships we can do with that. One of the big ones then we had got was TransLink. So we partnered with TransLink to develop and produce their face masks for their buses, which was great. That was a really good partnership to have. We're also looking now, we have just finalised a partnership with the Tourism Board of Ireland in France. So we're sending lots of our advent boxes over there, hundreds and hundreds of advent boxes over to France. We're also looking then for that to go to Germany and all the kind of Tourist Board of Ireland different groups within the other European countries. So we're doing that, and then of course focusing then on the online. So a lot of our orders are going to England, going to Australia, going to America, expats that used to live here or maybe normally come home for Christmas that haven't really got over. So that's been the focus and the drive of the website. So the website's doing really well, and the corporate side is doing really well at a time of uncertainty in the high street. So I suppose in a way it's trying to find new solutions and new lines of revenue at times like this, during this kind of pandemic, when the high street isn't what I expected it to be or what I wanted it to be. So I suppose it's definitely about adaptability and trying to adapt to our current situation.